Okay, do you sometimes find it difficult to speak up for fear that you might come off as rude, or you may tend to be more agreeable in order to avoid conflict? You could actually be affecting your own well-being. So here to help, we welcome certified coach and author of Stop People Pleasing and Find Your Own Power, Hailey Magee. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here.
First of all, congratulations on the book. It just came out a few days ago.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Tuesday was the release day and it's been a whirlwind.
It must feel really good but overwhelming, right?
All of it.
Yes.
It's all the good, the tough, the hard. It's all part of it, and I'm just enjoying every minute.
We're happy you're kicking things off with us here in Portland today. So let's talk about people pleasing. How do you really define that? Because I think a lot of us have thoughts on what it could possibly mean.
Totally, yeah. And people tend to confuse people pleasing and just being nice to people.
Sure.
Right? So people pleasing is the act of putting others' feelings, needs, or dreams first at the expense of your own feeling, needs, or dreams.
Okay.
So we're not just being nice, but we're sacrificing ourselves in the process.
There you go. And I think over time as that builds, you can kind of lose yourself and not even really know what your needs are to begin with.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yep, so many of us feel like we become shadows of ourselves because we put others first so many times that when we pause and take a look inside and ask, what do I want to do? How do I want to spend my time? What do I like to go out to dinner and eat? We don't know.
Big question mark.
Yeah.
So you are a former card-carrying people pleaser.
I am.
So you can tell us, how did you kind of figure it out for yourself and then start learning and growing and be able to write the book to help other people?
Yeah, totally. I had this rock bottom moment that was kind of like this awakening where I realized I'd lost myself and my partner, I'd lost myself and my job, all this stuff. And I just realized I needed to rediscover who I was. And it's really hard for us to advocate for ourselves if we don't know ourselves. And we can't speak up for our needs if we don't know what they are.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of people pleasers, the first step in breaking the pattern, it's not speaking up with others or setting boundaries, but it's about rediscovering who we are beneath the need to please.
How do you get to that point? Because your book is broken up into sections, and one is find yourself.
Yeah.
That is so hard for us to even define. How did you start that journey for yourself?
Completely. I think for me, and what I write about in the book, is that so often we just need to come home to the basic stuff in the beginning, like basic self-care. Are you tending to your material and physical needs? Like, are you listening to your body when it tells you you need to eat, or you need to sleep, or you need to rest, right? It sounds deceptively simple, but these are really the fundamentals of learning to trust ourselves, to take care of ourselves.
There you go. So then once you've kind of achieved that, you can begin to stand up for yourself, which is also not so cut and dry and easy, because all these social interactions we have, it can be really tough to find that courage to say what you feel and what you really need sometimes.
It can be so scary, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't know how it will be received by others, and you need to care enough about your own well-being to say, you know what, even if this disappoints someone, or even if they don't like this, I'm worthy of my own protection.
Sure.
And it takes a lot of courage.
And be ready to say, hey, I need XYZ from you. And what if that person says, no, I can't offer that? Then you have to be prepared to say, okay, so what am I going to do about that?
Yes.
Instead of just accepting the no and continuing with the relationship that doesn't really serve you.
Exactly. And I think so many folks who have struggled with people pleasing tend to think that even basic needs for fairness and reciprocity and affection are too much. I know in one relationship, I had so many partners who found it really hard to say words like, I love you, or I care about you. So over time, I came to believe, oh, it's too much. I should never expect that from anyone.
Right.
But many people pleasers, we have to recalibrate our understanding of what too much really is and learn that these basic needs for kindness and affection are really normal and really healthy.
There's a lot of mental gymnastics that goes into it that I think when you kind of stop yourself, you can recognize, man, I'm really doing a lot of work to justify whatever is happening around me.
Exactly. There's a ton of shape-shifting and contorting, and there's something really freeing about being like, you know what, I need what I need, and I am who I am, and I'm not going to shape-shift that to fit into someone else's puzzle piece.
Let's talk about the growing pains, because even when you've recognized some of these things in yourself and you're trying to do better and set boundaries and foster healthy relationships, it takes time, and I'm sure you've experienced setbacks too, right? Where it's not going to be perfect.
Oh, yes, so many, so many. Something I work with my clients on constantly is guilt. I think that's one of the biggest ones. Is I want to stand up for myself, but I'm guilty. I'm afraid of hurting them. And you know, there are so many different ways to work with that guilt because it is such a big growing pain. And one of the best ways is just imagining, all right, if I don't speak up for myself, or if I keep on in this relationship this way, you play out the mental movie. You imagine what it'll be like in 6 months or 1 year, or God forbid, 5 years. And when you play that out, you begin to realize that this path is hard, but it's the only way, because we don't want that future where we stay small and silent forever.
We don't. You really do not when you break it down like that. And you make a really great point about kind of the nuanced conversation of this, that people pleasing for marginalized groups, there's just a lot of danger involved in even speaking up for yourself in the first place. And we kind of have to recognize the different table, I guess, that we're all coming to.
Absolutely. Like, people pleasing isn't really about pleasing people. It's a misnomer. At its core, it's about staying safe, being liked, being welcomed. And for those of us who have marginalized identities, a lot of times we stay small and silent because we know if we were to be our authentic selves in our communities, those selves might not be welcome, or they might actually be harmed in some way. And so it's really this act of discernment at every level. Like, how can I keep myself safe here?
What would you say today to younger Hailey, who was struggling as a people pleaser, that you would be here sharing your book and helping other people?
Wow, that's such a good question. It makes me emotional almost thinking about it. But I guess what I would say is that I would encourage her, every time she sets a boundary and feels really guilty or bad about it after, to keep moving through that guilt and keep going, because her life is going to become so much richer and more vibrant than it ever could have been when she was silent. And that's true for everyone who breaks this pattern.
You got to keep moving forward. Thank you so much. This was so great chatting with you. Congratulations again. Hey, we want to let you know that Hailey has a book event tonight at 7 at Powell's Books at Cedar Hills Crossing. We'll have those details on our website. The book again is Stop People Pleasing and Find Your Power. We'll have more information on ka2u.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.